Welcome back to Used to Sew, a podcast about vintage sewing machines, sewing history, and sewing culture in the past and present. I am your producer and co-host, Aradia, daughter of your main host, T.R. Kelly, who is here today to talk to you about Fanmail, thrifting adventures, and a follow-up on sourcing a treadle for a friend. This episode's purpose is about connecting with you all, either through your direct correspondence with us or through sharing a story of getting a machine from useless to useful in record time. As I said last week, this episode was recorded in a burst of energy the day after we recorded last week's episode, and so it was glaringly ironic to me that in last week's episode I was being impressed with how lubrication has progressed over time. And this week we start out talking about how the assumption of progress over time is totally misplaced with sewing machines themselves. It's funny. And also a real reminder that there are very, very few universal rules or assumptions that you can ever be safe making. Context and nuance are always important, except when they aren't. We also talk about Monopoly, World War II, fancy badged machines, and how to deal with half a century of cigarette smoke.
Welcome to another fun-filled and fact-packed episode of Used to Sew, your home for chatter about vintage sewing machines, sewing culture, sewing stories, and just all kinds of fun things from our little nerdy corner of the textile universe. I forget that not everybody's into vintage machines. I'm on a couple other groups where, what sewing machine would I buy? And it's all the new Plastomatic 12,000 or, whatever the name brands are, but they're all new machines. And I get on there and I go, I would suggest no. I say something vintage and the first thing people scream about is there'll be something messed up. I don't trust the wiring, so there's that whole sewing machines are a complicated thing and there could be something wrong and that's out of my wheelhouse.
Sort of an expectation that progress means that it's better.
Yes.
There's an assumption that it's simpler, easier to use, more durable. In fact, that is entirely opposite from that impulse.
And if it's that old, it must be worn out and broken, right? Absolutely not.
Well, given how machines wear out now, can you imagine how fast they must have worn out in the old days if you just assume that progress is always linear and better over time?
Oh, well, that's true. And people don't take into account the enshittification of products as capitalism starts off. The capitalist system starts off with great competition among great minds, but then just like a game of Monopoly, one person winds up buying everything and then it goes to shit, right? It's just like...
Did you know that the game of Monopoly was originally built as a cynical teaching tool and not as a fun game? I learned that from a podcast a couple years ago and was like, wait, all the lessons that I thought I was learning are actually the original point?
Yeah, that's the original plot. And it was invented by a woman. It was called The Landlord's Game.
Yeah, that blew my mind when I learned that. Like, I always thought this game was weirdly critical of capitalism given the mascot and his cheerful being a robber baron. Oh. So yeah, all that to say, yes.
Just a side quest of Monopoly here. All the little tokens, the shoe and the boat and all those little tokens that you move around.
Yeah, I'm the horse. I'm always the horse.
I snuck a sewing machine into it. A little toy dollhouse sewing machine. That was fine.
Excellent.
I think the last time I played Monopoly, I was in my 20s, I think. I always liked setting up the game, but then as it progressed and the one-sided nature of the system, it's like you'd get to that. I don't think we ever finished a game. You'd just get to the point where everything has come to a stop. Nobody else hasn't, you just can't win. You can't win. It's like, man, we should bring that game back and teach it in school. Like, okay, kids.
Yeah.
This is going to teach you a lot more practical stuff than studying the Bible. Texas.
And I mean, and then you can tell what point in the game are we at currently.
Right. Right now we're in the part. Right now we're in the part where people are just about ready to stand up, flip the board, go outside, and ride their bikes.
Pretty much.
There's a lot of good stuff in the Bible, but I don't think. I want to look at that. Where is sewing mentioned in the Bible? Many times. Of course, hand sewing, not sewing machines, but there's a lot of textile stuff in there.
Isn't there a whole thing about mixed fiber clothing being like a big no-no?
Ooh,
Isn't that
that's
one
in
of
Leviticus.
those fun, weird, hypocritical contradictions of modern quote unquote?
Yeah. Okay, well, this is illegal. Well, this is in the same chapter. Well, that's different.
Okay.
So anyway, our religion here is staying threaded. That means being ready, being prepared, being cheerfully ready to fix things that are wrong in your world with your very own needle and thread in a simple and efficient way. So staying threaded. It's mental, it's physical. It's what we try to really do here. But for those folks out there that just, new sewing machines, I don't even want an old one. Because then the other thing is like, well, if I buy an old one and I take it to a shop, this has been a sad thing I have found out that from reading all these letters from folks is like many shops just won't even work on those old ones. They just won't even look at them. They won't. And that's why I want to refer you back to that great map that we put up on our website, courtesy of lrcrafts.com, that shows all of the vintage sewing machine friendly repair shops and quirky little people in their garage that will sell you a good machine, not the latest Blastomatic, 475 stitches, threads itself, guaranteed to last you through at least 2 cycles of Halloween.
With a built-in clock.
Ooh!
I'm never going to let that go.
Bluetooth connectivity probably now, right?
I mean, yeah, you probably download an AI-generated pattern from Etsy and just Bluetooth it right on into your sewing machine computer and then post a picture to your Instagram of an AI projected finished version of what's going to happen before the project's even done being sewn. I bet that's possible, or will be like tomorrow.
I think it is. I
hate it.
The only thing I'm not sure is can you check Facebook on your touchscreen on your computer, on your sewing machine?
Can it generate a post automatically for your social media on the sewing machine? That's the next step in just making this whole shit show even more compiled.
Oh my God, it's integrated with Instagram functionality built in, Show everybody.
You build in little cameras so that you could have the working, live vlog. The sewing machine could live stream the project.
Oh my God, stop it.
Why am I speaking this into reality? I should shut up. Tell me about our fan mail or whatever the topic is.
Oh, we have lots of topics. We have mail. Yes, we do. And we have topics actually related to iron and steel and old stenchy sewing machine cabinets. But first, let's get to some letters. As I just referenced about the map about where all the awesome sewing machine repair shops are, that is courtesy of Sarah at LR Crafts. And she wrote us a letter. Hello, hope you're well. I just found out your podcast, and I think what you share is awesome. It's easier to find such topics in niche forums or Facebook groups, but having another channel to learn about vintage sewing machines is super interesting. You are giving an opportunity also to people who has trouble reading, which is great. I don't think that English is I think this is an Italian site. I'm not exactly sure, but that's a good point. For people who don't read well, listening to us blab could be useful. I hadn't even thought of that.
There's a big debate in the world of reading fantasy books about are audiobooks really reading? And you always, when that discussion comes up, you always get the people with severe visual processing reading issues being like, excuse me, this is how I'm able to read. This makes
absolutely
such a difference because of the dyslexia or whatever other thing is in the way of the eyeball part, but not in the way of the words in the brain part.
I think it's the same, though, because you're getting words and your brain is making pictures. That's, to me, what the essence of...
I am firmly team audiobooks are reading, but it is a massive debate out there in the world of
I've heard
fiction
that.
readers and nonfiction readers, I guess, too.
So Sarah continues on here. I've seen on your website that you list resources and you shared our map of repair shops. Thank you so much. You are so welcome, because that was a huge project that I'd been like, somebody has to do this. It's not going to be me because I'd forget to put on my other shoe if I get interrupted in the middle of that process. See what I'm saying?
Mutual pollination is a thing I firmly believe in as a podcast producer and social media person. I think we should all be sharing each other's stuff. It inevitably goes well for both audiences.
Then she continues on. I will share about your lovely podcast as well. Thank you again. I'd also be glad to expand a collaboration if you'd like it, maybe writing a full post about what you do. Her site is huge, really huge.
Ooh, cool.
That's the one that has all the Singer decals and all that cool stuff.
Yeah. Wow, neat.
About resources on vintage machines, history, and other useful information, I have another resource maybe you would like to link to. I am an archaeologist and a coder, and have made a search page where people can insert their serial number to get info on the machine. And there's a link. We'll put that in the show notes. And this is not the same as you might think, the old Singer list. This is a new list. That was me putting that blob in there. Okay, Sarah again. Information comes from Singer itself, ISMAX, reliable collectors, and resources. If you scroll down to the comments, you will see that it has been endorsed by the chair of ISMAX himself. Also, Singer Australia recently complimented this tool, so I can't wait to check it out. It works well on desktop and mobile. No need to scroll endless tables on PDF files. I am also, with the help of the collector community, gathering real-life data on extant models to help track information as accurate as possible. I'm not sure what extant is. I know I need to know that word. Is it extinct or existing?
Existing.
Okay. I have an ongoing project about retracing the production figures of Singer machines. I'm also actively studying decals to link them to factory production and models. That is going to be useful.
This is our kind of resource. Nerdery. Yes.
Yes. Maybe you'd like to leave a link to this on your page. You betcha I will.
Definitely.
For your readers to get reliable sources and easy to use tools. Just like that wonderful map. Thank you so much, Sarah. I am glad you are putting your prodigious skills to organizing all this information.
Information is just noise until it's organized and accessible. It's not truly actualized as information until a human can interface effectively with it. These tools are just, that's so important. That's so important. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing.
So we're going to put a link to that specific in our show notes here, but also I will add that to our growing resource list on our actual little primitive but effective website, which is used2sew.com. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. That's really cool. More letters. Our buddy Elizabeth Pike, who's always sending us fun stuff, commented, yes, I'm looking for a 237 to put in a treadle stand. I think that was in response to our workhorse thing. She also, Elizabeth, has a boy needle tin. She bought one. That was full of needles and shuttles, but damn it, there was no Davis shuttle. A lot of people will buy those hoping to find, which reminds me, I got to go back to Viking with some shuttles that I have and go through his collection of long bobbins. He has a lot of long bobbins, but he doesn't know which machines they go to. He says, you need to bring in your shuttle and then we can make some sense of it. So if it's true, I might have a source of a whole lot of Davis long bobbins. You'll be the first to know.
I gotta go in there and rescue my embroidery machine. I have no idea what's happened to it because I'm pretty sure my phone isn't taking their calls.
Oh. Okay, even more letters. This one is from Karen Strohmeyer. Hi, I'm really enjoying your podcast. Just finished the latest episode on fabric stores. On the off chance you haven't heard of it, I want to recommend the book Rigmaroles and Ragamuffins, Unpicking Words That We Derive from Textiles by Elinor Kapp. I think it's out of print, but there are copies out there. Oh, we're going to look for that.
Nerdery, we're nerds. Yes.
And she signs, enjoy your time off. I'll be here listening when you return. Well, we got a burst of energy, so I don't think we're going to have time off. We're going to power through because we are tightly threaded.
I was trying to give myself space, and then it turns out we have energy because of our vacations, so Congratulations. You don't have to wait.
Tea, more tea.
But thank you for your patience nonetheless. We'll stock that up for later.
And she signs Karen, but not that kind of Karen.
Every Karen I have actually met personally has been one of those exceptionally fantastic people that completely belies and is the opposite of the stereotype. Like, stereotypes are fun. Labels are fun, but it's really ironic that I've only ever known some of the sweetest women I've ever met are Karens, ironically.
It's just harsh when your name becomes shorthand for something that's not, well, just shorthand for anything, because you might not, be into it. So I answered her back, sounds awesome. We love looking for out-of-print books. And I feel sorry for all the Karens who've been lumped into a stupid meme stereotype. Same for Becky, Chad, John, Dick, Harry, Johnson.
Look, the internet is a brutal place for all of us.
It's brutal.
In our own ways.
And it's like my own name, TR is what everybody's been calling me since 1985 or something. I got that from a coworker at the fabric store, actually, is when I changed from Tracy Ray to TR. But if a person was going to make a comic about trailer park people, Tracy Ray might be one of the lead characters.
Yeah. There's not a lot of stereotypes I could assign to the name Aradia, but...
No.
You did me a solid there.
People in the know would be, oh, your parents were pagans in the 90s, right?
No one's ever actually called that out. I always have to explain it. No one's ever actually understood the context. Well, that's not true. I've met a couple of people who already knew Aradias, but...
They were either pagans or lesbians, right?
Yes.
Yes. There, times and places and names. Okay. Going on to somebody with a less stereotypical name here. Our other good buddy, Chris Bear from Grinnell, Iowa. Remember, we sent him a sticker. TR and Radia. Hello again from Iowa. Your recent episode about sewing machines and war reminded me to send this to you. Friends of mine were recently spending time in France and came upon a historic site littered with old cast iron sewing machines. The story is quite horrific. A brief description and links follow. Basically, the Nazis burned the entire village to the ground in 1944, and the only things remaining were stone walls, foundations, and anything metal, which included a considerable number of sewing machines. I have included a few photos of machines from the site. Thanks again for the podcast. I listen to it while mowing my lawn, and it almost makes the mowing bearable. Now, if you folks, the weather in Iowa, folks, is hot and humid, so I'm digging this. The only downside to them is that the mowing typically lasts about 15 to 20 minutes longer than the average episode. All right, Chris, we're going to make them longer for you. Take care and keep the episodes coming. Well, thank you so very, very much for that. And be sure to stay hydrated and mow in the early or late hours.
Well, that is a very cool letter. That is a horrific story, but that is a really good addendum to the sewing machines in war, not just as tools, but as survivors in a way. They're like the ghosts left over.
This is, and I have heard of this village because I've studied a lot of World War II stuff, but I didn't know this part. Aradia is a French village preserved in its ruined state as a permanent national memorial to the 643 civilians massacred by the Nazi Waffen-SS on June 10, 1944. Left untouched by the order of Charles de Gaulle, the site serves as a harrowing frozen moment in time where charred buildings and rusted everyday objects testify to the brutality of the Nazi occupation. Among these remains, dozens of rusted cast iron sewing machines, predominantly Singer models, survived the fires to stand as poignant symbols representing the domestic lives and work of the women whose lives were cut short. And then there's a picture. So we will include, and then there's a link to more about that. But Chris,
that's poignant memorial.
That's, and that was in response to our episode about sewing machines and war. So this is... here we are, stitching the world together, one thread at a time. And if we got to take the broken ends and knot them back together to tell the story, well, we're doing it right here at Used to Sew.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm really glad that we can help make a chore slightly less annoying, because that's definitely what I use podcasts for. So it pleases me to know that I am making podcasts that also serve that need. I am passing it forward from the podcasters that I get my housework done on.
I just love the fact that people are listening to us like old radio shows. There's no screen to pay attention to, even if you wanted to just sit and watch two people blabbing into microphones, which is like, Thank you, all of you listeners out there, and do write us. Sometimes it takes us a while to get to one of these roundup thank you and reading letters things, but we read them all, and a lot of times you guys are springboards for new topics, which I really like. That's a total weaving of community right there.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get on to some talk about iron and steel and leather and wood. Yes, folks, I went thrifting yesterday out to Florence, Oregon, which is out on the coast because it was hot. Like I said, we were just talking about Chris back in Iowa mowing the lawn. It's like, oh, dude, I remember. So it's not normally hot and humid over here in Western Oregon, but we've got some weird weather coming in. So anyway, my boo said, let's go to the coast. It'll be colder out there. And that's a 20-mile drive. We can get some food. We can go to St. Vinny's. Hey, I'm on board. You said St. Vinny's. Let's go. I haven't been to out St. Vinnying since probably a month. So we hopped in the air-conditioned pod, zoomed on out, had some shrimp, went to the beach, got our feet in the sand. It was cold and foggy. It was 64 degrees out there. It was great.
Summer on the Oregon coast. Woo! You gotta love it.
It's a lot like San Francisco that way. The interior heat pulls the cold ocean air in, and you get the fog in the summer.
It's very cold ocean here. The whole West Coast, it's a upwelling of cold water from the bottom of the ocean, and that's where you get all the fog.
Yeah, I estimated the water temperature to be around 60 yesterday as I got in, which is not as cold as the Mackenzie, but it's about like the Willamette. Anyhow, so then as we were packed with shrimp and garlic bread, okay, let's go hit some thrift stores. The Oregon Coast Humane Society thrift store is just right down there in Old Town, and we love that one. I know you love that one too. Went there and scored some corduroy for you, because I know you love corduroy. Couldn't pass it up.
Yay!
Some cross-stitch fabric for you, because I know you're getting into that. Need some practice stuff. And I got 2 pillowcases. Not that I need pillowcases, but they were really nice cotton fabric in really interesting prints. So I just wanted to add them to my stash for 50 cents a piece.
That place's prices have not changed in
my God.
25 years I've been going there.
I got, this is the real score. I got a very old Navajo ring. It's too old to even say silver on it, and the workmanship is very rustic and old. $3.
Wow.
Here, check it out. Oh, you can't. I'll show it to you later.
Yeah, the light on Zoom is terrible. Show me in person.
Yeah. What else did we get? Randy even bought some stuff there. But, we get up the front, and it's like $18 or whatever. And we always overpay because for the kitties.
Did they have a resident cat there for you to pet?
They did. They had a little dilute.
They always do, right? It's either a dog or a cat.
Oh, it's a little.
Usually it's a cat.
Half-grown little peach and orange dilute kitty girl that was in the middle of her afternoon nap, but she did manage to rub her face on me. So I was like, oh. Then St. Vinny's. Okay, so we go in. St. Vinny's. The smell of St. Vinny's is different than Goodwill. It just is. So Randy immediately goes back to the furniture, and I'm distracted by something shiny. And then he comes zooming up the aisle, and I can tell that he's found a sewing machine. I can just tell. Oh, Boo, come here, look at this. Okay, so we walk back there, and there they have the machine just kind of mixed in with all the tables and chairs. And the cabinet machines are just kind of all mixed in.
Right, it's basically a table. I mean, it's just a table with a weird thing inside it,
It's a table with a wooden box on top and curly iron legs underneath. It's a coffin top treadle.
Ooh, okay. I'm intrigued.
He goes, I've never heard of this brand before. Is it like one of those badged ones that you talked about? Right? Because he's listened to us.
He's listening. He's learning.
It's an Arlington. And it's molded, it's in the cast iron legs even. So this is not a cheap, I mean, not only did they just put the decal on, the irons have been cast with Arlington on both sides. And the cabinet has these really cool drawer pull things that say Cash Buyers Union. What the hell is that? Wow. Take the coffin top off. The machine says Arlington in really old English looking script. It's kind of worn out. It's got really pretty ghosts of decals. It's, yes, it is a badge machine. I can tell that it is a national, like one of the biggest badgers of all. It's a national long shuttle top tension type 4 machine. So it's one older than the Gewurz Special.
Okay, so same kind of era, same kind of vibe, but like really high class and fancy because everything was custom, not just the badge slapped on at the end. Everything was badgified.
Right. Now, because Cash Buyers Union, what the heck is that?
Yeah, what is that? That is a clue.
So that was, I came and I really wanted to buy this thing just because it was in really good shape. The drawers were packed with cool stuff. It could easily have been brought back to use. And a National is like, they're everywhere. You can find parts for Nationals, you know, even if they're called Gewurz Specials or whatever. So I came home and I looked up Cash Buyers Union. This was a buyer's club. Think of like Bimart or Costco or Sam's Club.
Oh, okay.
They were in Chicago. And so it was kind of like this. They would get all this store brand stuff and they had all kinds of things that people would use, but it was all badged stuff. So everything was their brands. Their sewing machine brands were Kenwood and Arlington. That was it. That was, you know, and then they had plows and harrows and, you know, all wood stoves.
Okay.
Okay, so when was this? This is 1890s till 1904 when their warehouse burnt down.
Okay. Ooh, that sucks.
So the machine is from before 1904. Serial number would have been on the underside of this, and I didn't feel like disarticulating it out of the cabinet to see what the serial number was.
Sure.
It was cool. It was like Arlington. What the hell? The fact that it had the name in the iron. And so that I read more about this, and it's like, these are actually pretty rare. Not that there's any huge demand for them, because it's just a national, you know, it's just a really common national, but there aren't, to find in Arlington, there are just not many, especially out here on the West. How to get out here?
Yeah, seriously. We're nowhere near that.
Yeah, so $150, and I had a 20% off coupon, but again, I don't have any space. No space.
Right. And no one actively chomping at the bit for such a machine.
Yeah, I don't have anybody. And
because if you had someone who was like, please get me one, then
get me a treadle.
That could be like, oh, well, there we go. But if you don't have someone actively on your wait list, then where are you going to put it?
Like, oh, that's a good segue to the story of the 27. Remember the worn out household machine from Vivian?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
right?
what was rattling around in my subconscious. Was like, you did have someone on a wait list, but you don't now.
Taking you back to, I don't know which episode that was, where the treadle's actually worn out. The shuttles are thread cut. The race is worn down. This machine cannot be fixed.
A mythical unicorn of a truly worn out old machine.
Truly worn out. So, you know, and it wasn't because of rust or anything. It was just because of wear. So I told Vivian, I will find you a new machine. And that was distressingly long ago, but then we got back together and I said, all right, I'm on this. So I went on Facebook Marketplace, which is the best place to buy old sewing machines if you know what you're looking for. No shipping, no handling. People just want that stuff out of their life. It's not eBay. So I'm looking through all the treadles and they go from free, get it out of my garage, to, oh my God, rare vintage antique, $1,800 by people that don't know what the hell they're doing. Oh, this one looks good. The cabinet looks good. It's not thrashed. Even the decals are good. It's a Singer 27, which is a super common long bobbin machine. $100. Call the lady up. I'll be there tomorrow. Get there with Randy. It's great. It needs feed and wax. I mean, the wood's all perfectly fine. It just needs to be conditioned, right? The machine is excellent condition, and it's got those beautiful Tiffany gingerbread decals, which is what caught my eye, because that's not as common as like the Sphinx or the Red Eye, or ones that people have seen a lot. So it's got the Tiffany gingerbread on it.
The Tiffany one was a decal we saw on one of those cool machines at St. Vinny's like a year and a half ago, and you were like, "Look at this! This is Tiffany." And
yes, that's that one.
Kind of diamondy almost.
Oh, it had like a stained glass look to it. All these little segmented things.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Not only was the shuttle there was an extra shuttle. There was needles, there was some attachment, all the things, and fascinating conversation with the lady. She was a retired English teacher. She's just clearing out. She's downsizing because she wants to like travel and do stuff. So it's like, okay. Turns out she hadn't even used this. She had got it from somebody else just kind of because it looked cool. So I told her the story of Vivian and where this was going. I said, this is going 12 blocks from here after I go through it, fix it up, new belt, oil and stuff. And it's going to a lady who's kind of homebound and really needs this and sews a lot of stuff. And so she loved the story. So then when I took the machine home, worked on it for 2 weeks, belt, oil, all the things. I sewed 2 projects on it to make sure it's just the most beautiful. Oh, it's just perfect. So I took it to Vivian. I, of course, got Randy helping me because I'm not moving this by myself. We carried it into her house and set it up, and she was just overjoyed. And I told her the story of where it came from. It's like, this came from 12 blocks from here.
Stewarding the identity of the machine as well as the literal machine.
Oh, yes. And Vivian, to tell stories to people that really want to hear them is so fun. That's why I like doing this podcast. And so she was just freaking overjoyed. She had cleared out a space in her front room for it. She had the table from the old household. She had taken the machine out, had her caregiver screw a piece of wood over the top, and that's where she had her serger and her Janome modern machine. So she has them all up there. And I'm just like, wow, you are set up. Now I said, I'm going to be back before I leave for the winter because your belt will probably need to be tightened. Just, that's how it is.
Sure, just from being used and broken in and stretched. It's like a pair of pants or whatever.
Yeah.
Bra. Eventually you got to switch to the next set of hooks.
And once she got the hang of threading the shuttle, it was like, bingo, no problem. And squeezing the tension release. So and I managed to find the original manual online, printed out in large print, because we're the same age. So that was a good ending to that story. A machine that someone who needed a machine, I found the machine, I put it in order that I would stand behind proudly, and there it goes. And I didn't have to hold on to it, right? So
right.
This is my new business plan. TR stands for treadle, rehab, restore, relocate, whatever. But I'm not gonna buy them until somebody says, "Hey, TR, can you find me a treadle?" Sure.
Right, exactly. So this machine could have been awesome if you had someone on a wait list, but you don't currently have someone on your wait list. So it gets to sit there and wait for someone who's actually ready for it.
Oh, but what if it doesn't sell? What if it gets, see,
well,
I want to save them all.
Comes to you with a need for a machine and then you go back there and it's still there, then we can cross that bridge.
I want to save them all.
You can't save them all.
I got to get my still stitching video back from Mike so I can watch that guy be all sad about, save them all.
It's a bummer, but we can only do what we can do. And if you're moving machines that aren't getting used to people that are getting used, you're doing more saving than all the repair hoarding in the world.
Yeah. So there was, that transaction wasn't about the money. I paid $100 for that machine. I put another 150 into it, but that's because Vivian saved my life once, and now I feel like I've paid off that debt. Not that there was a debt, but there's just these cosmic swirls of energy. The threads, I say. Okay, so that machine was exciting, and I took a lot of pictures of it. We'll post a few here. What else was there? There was that classic Kenmore Deluxe Rotary Model 117. Yes, it's that white rotary that looks like it's in a pixelated, faceted like they took that nice round white rotary shape and made it planar.
It's digitized.
Yeah, it's 8-bit.
Yeah. Like those like Boss glasses that drop down for the meme.
Yeah. This is definitely the machine that Grandma Peterson had back in Los Angeles when I was a little kid, because I remember the light on the front and the way the switch is, and then I would turn it and it would click. And she would say, "Crazy Break, stop turning that switch. You're going to break it." But anyway, the machine is this, it's not Godzilla, but it's the like micro pebbly texture. And it's dark green. It's very attractive, easy on the eyes. And for a white rotary or any of its, again, this is a badged machine. It's a badged Kenmore. It's made by White. Everything about it. The t-shirt throat plate has been replaced by a plain, that big t-shirt slide plate thing. It's square, but all the tension, everything else, this is a White rotary. Bobbin case was there, huge bobbin, top clamp feet, friction drive motor, which is what I don't like about White electric machines. I don't like friction drive. But the pulley was in good, smooth condition. It wouldn't go if you fired it up. The whole machine was clean, great. Okay, it's in this big cabinet. And it's hard to find cabinets for Whites. They're bigger than Singers, and the pin spacing is different. Big rectangular base. Oh, wow, there's 4 drawers in this cabinet. What kind of... looking for goodies is half the fun, right? What's in the cabinet? Open up the cabinet and, ooh, smells like a casino in there.
Oh, blast from the past, from a different time.
This machine is from the 40s or 50s, and it lived in a house with a smoker. And there was a lot of goodies in those drawers, but my God, the stench.
Ugh, yeah.
I've lived around smokers my whole life. I smoke weed, but the penetrating aroma of decades of cigarettes, I swear, it smelled like a tavern or a casino in those drawers. But there were scissors and tools, a lot of things that could have been cleaned, right? But the bias tapes and things like that, forget it. You would never get that smell out.
Sure.
So they wanted $100 for this thing. And mechanically and furniture-wise, this was a beautiful setup. And, it was in the 25% off color tag too. So $75. But the smell, no, it's not going to sell because of the smell. Even smokers don't like the smell of that.
Someone who has lost their sense of smell might take it, but that's about it.
Yeah, or maybe if it reminded them of their parents or something. This is the smell of my home when I was a kid. I don't want to judge stuff. It's like myself, I don't mind that smell as much as I mind the smell of like fresheners, air cleaners, and chemicals and Febreze and
absolutely.
Know.
But we're smell sensitive to everything. Old smells, new smells, doesn't matter. If it's super pungent, we have a strong opinion about it.
This is kind of like the featherweight cases that we talked about, the yucky glue that makes the featherweight cases smell rotten because they use hide glue and it rots. And people is always like, "Oh my God, I bought this featherweight, but how can I get the smell out of the case?" And there are a lot of, really the only way you can get that smell out is to rip the cover off and refinish it. But coffee is really good at absorbing smell. So if I did buy this White, I would bring it home. I would set everything out in the yard in the sun, first of all. And this is something that does take the smell of cigarettes out, is rain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the natural world is an incredible deodorizer.
That's how I used to clean my fancy gold lame gig jackets after gigs at casinos. I would hang them outside, not in the pounding rain, but in a undercover, but in that negative
in the atmosphere
space.
of a rain.
Yeah. And it really works quite well. But that's one of those things like collecting sewing machines. That's kind of a wild card out of left field. Oh, yeah. I can't stand the smell of it.
Yeah, for sure. Fun fact, if you smell something terrible and it's lingering in your nose, smell coffee. It will kind of like absorb and get rid of the bad odors. It sort of just resets. Even if you don't like the smell of coffee,
right?
It will there's something about it molecularly that just like resets. If you got something stuck in your nose and you're just like, I can't, like, help, I'm stuck in a smell loop. Coffee can basically always break a smell loop. It's just something about it, like, breaks the brain. It's good for like also if you're trying to like cleanse your palate between taste tests or sniff tests of something, like coffee is just like a reset between, like you've seen that at like weed shops.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive to weed shops. It's a thing that exists more broadly.
What's really funny is that a lot of people that try to take weed where it's not supposed to go put it in with coffee, thinking that's going to fool the drug dogs.
I mean, that might be taking it a little far, but it works great if you're having a sensory experience in your own skull.
The best, just really, really weird rabbit hole. For really bad smells, put Vicks Vapor Rub under your nose. This comes from forensic friends of mine. But for your sewing machine cabinet, back to that stinky cabinet, getting it as aired out as possible and then putting a bunch of fresh ground coffee in the drawers might help the cabinet. And there's this great product, if you really wanted to go for it, called Kilz, Kilz. And it's a paint primer that seals like the wood. Okay, like the inner drawers of that thing would be, it's wood. The wood has soaked up the aroma. But if you paint it with Kilz, any stain, any smell, any surface, because Randy redoes rentals, and you'd be surprised. Pet stains, all kind of stuff. You could paint all the inner drawers, outer drawers, all the surfaces. But, really, why? There is a million more out there that want you to come save them. And unless it's an Arlington, I still want to go back there and get it today. I have the truck. Randy has the car. He'd never know.
I'm pretty sure he'd notice if you had a spare treadle show up.
Oh, it's not going to go here. You've got space. No.
I'm pretty sure my spouse would notice if a random treadle showed up.
Oh, God. We would definitely not do good bringing a stinky one in there.
No. You talk about strong smells. That's...
Oh, geez. Just having that old 101 up there that had the rotten grease in it, he couldn't deal.
Yeah, he was really happy when that machine moved
When that one went away. Other machines that were there, a poor, pathetic touch and swear in a cabinet, and some weird little Insta machine that looked more like a Mr. Coffee. I don't know. It was the strangest little thing.
A sewing machine that looked like a coffee machine?
It was really small and had a billion stitches and a poorly translated Chinese manual, and it was all made out of plastic. And I don't know, is this intended to be a toy or what is this?
I bet it was for itty bitty apartment living or something, like dorm room stuff or some sort of mini micro pico life or something.
Yeah, but oh my God, would it sew? I was like, Jesus, I'm kind of afraid to move it. It looks kind of fragile. So that was like, eh. And there was no good fabric or notions there, but seeing that Arlington, and I haven't seen a Kenmore 117 for a while, but that dark green is like, oh my God, yeah. And that wasn't, when my grandma had that was my non-smoking grandma. So that didn't have any, I had a smoking grandma and a non-smoking grandma.
Same, actually.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it.
Oh, yeah. So that was my St. Vinny's adventure. And then after all that excitement, actually, there was this really cool toolbox on her that he wanted too. I could pick that. No. No. Okay. So I guess I'm going to wrap that up for today. Just a little bit of this and a little bit of that and threads and scraps. And now I got things to wash, things to sew. And now that we're on the same side of the mountain, we can go in the same room and sew. Yay.
Yeah.
Bring up this fabric and wash it, and then we can continue from there. Again, folks, continue to write us letters and tell us things that you want to know about or things that you already know about that you want us to know about to share with other yous who don't yet know about it. No matter where you fall, stay threaded.
And there you have it, another series of loosely organized tangents around fan mail and thrifting adventures, particularly discovering a badged machine so fancy, even its stand was badged. We have several interesting links for you to check out in the show notes, including those haunting pictures of burned-out homes with rusted singer stands in France. I do recommend looking at them. They're very eerie. TR did a great job of scoring fabric without taking home a stray sewing machine, and reinforced the joy of only acquiring an abandoned machine when a friend is actively looking to get one. She showed me a picture of the coffee machine looking sewing machine, and she's completely right. It looks like a coffee machine in just the most perplexing way. Because we blasted 2 episodes out in 1 week to get ahead again, I have no idea what you'll be hearing about from us next week. But I'm willing to bet that we'll have started watching the new Netflix version of Little House on the Prairie by then, and if so, we'll certainly have things to say about it. As a reminder, we are unofficially sponsored by Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. You can reach them at srvsew@gmail.com. Follow us on social media and YouTube, and you can best support us by sharing the podcast with your friends. You can even get ad-free episodes by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/used2sew. Thank you for listening to us here at Used to Sew. We always welcome your additions, corrections, and feedback in general. Please reach out to us via email at usedtosew@gmail.com. Used to Sew is a production of Fox and Raven Media. For more podcasts from Fox and Raven Media, visit our website at foxandravenmedia.com.